Hello, welcome to episode 6 of Music is None of Our Business, and this is girls. This week we're doing girls, but as usual we both went off on tangents. And I'd gone through the whole history of music and then said to Jake, what exactly are we doing? And then Jake said, well, I thought I'd narrow it down to contemporary female solo artists, and I went, oh, fuck it. So I started again.
Yeah, well, I was wallowing around in an absolute plethora of great women in music, and it's very difficult.
This is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is the problem. I think this is the problem with all, when we just say something like, oh, we'll do girls. I think that the first thing we need to do is get some
specifics,
some specifics about what we're going to be doing, because otherwise we're all over the flipping place. So I've got 10. I could have picked. I've kind of tried to avoid people we've already covered. So I've left out people like Ethel Cain and Olivia Rodrigo, who I love. Anya Hoover from Exmal Deutschland. She's released now, but I left her out because I've waffled on about Exmal Deutschland to extremes. So yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm not sure whether we'll actually cross over anywhere.
I did wonder.
Do you think we will?
I did wonder. There's perhaps one in particular I think could be on your list. Maybe, possibly up to 3 that could be on your list. But we'll see how it goes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I start?
Yeah, you
because
kick
I always
off.
make
Yeah,
you start.
you do.
So I'll start.
Yeah.
So my first pick for contemporary female solo artists. That's a mouthful, isn't it? We'll round it down to Cuffaso. My first Cuffaso is Holly Kenneth. And Holly, I warn you, a lot of mine do tend to be quite ambient based, electronic ambient based. Holly Kenneth being one of them. Holly Kenneth is Canadian, and kind of makes music along the ambient-y dream pop, kind of to a degree neoclassical type of music. It sounds very gauzy, very wispy. There are vocals, but they're mainly wordless. So it's all just to kind of get that kind of lush, ambient-y, drifty sound.
And when you say neoclassical, are we talking a combination of electronics and orchestration, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, there's not so much orchestration in it. It is more. It is all done on keyboard.
Yeah, I thought so.
But she's just released. In fact, she's just released an album with her husband, he records under the name of Goldmund, and they released an album together by. They've called themselves Harbours for this. It's called When We Are Free, and it's absolutely lovely. The last LP she did before that, I think, was For Forever. As usual, I'm ill prepared because I forgot to write all the album titles down. But yeah, it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. As with a lot of my picks this week, very, very quiet, lovely to just stick on your headphones and drift off. Yeah, she's been released. Her husband, like I say, her husband's Goldman. His name's Keith Kenneth, I believe, and they kind of record under various names. But it's one of those. I just kind of stumbled across her when I was. I think I was kind of doing my normal Friday, looking through everything on Resident Records, and saw this. I liked the description of the LP, so played it. It's lovely. I think I get the feeling that when we do this playlist, I think it's going to be quite a relaxing hour, unless you've picked anyone, anyone
Well, a bit noisier. No, there aren't many solo female heavy metal stars. You would. That
find. Is very true. Yeah.
But I've got quite a lot of restrained stuff as well. But I've got a few more energetic, a couple of energetic ones. Not much, but a few.
I'm not feeling very energetic at the moment, to be honest.
What's the matter with you?
I don't know. Old age, I think.
Just feeling a bit flaccid today.
Yes, very flaccid, very, very worn out and tired. And yeah, I know. So, in fact, I might have to pay some Holly Kenneth later just to drift away and cheer myself up. But yeah, that's my first pick is Holly Kenneth.
Okay, I've heard the name. I've kind of got a broad idea of what she is, but I can't recall actually hearing any of her stuff. So look forward to the playlist and seeing what kind of thing she's doing.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if I haven't bunged you a Bandcamp download code.
You can't do that. That would be illegal.
Of course it would. Not that I would do that, but maybe
theoretically.
Theoretically. Yeah. I could have. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
God, edit any crime. Any time I any crimes I may have committed, just edit them out. I don't want to incriminate myself.
Be a small
I don't want to go to Bandcamp prison and have
I shall edit out all of your faux pas legally, and I'll collect them all up and store them to use against you.
Be bloody hours worth.
Could be. Okay, cool. Holly, then it is. My number one is back to Iceland again. I do love Iceland. It's a great place. And going to Reykjavik, which not only is the most northerly capital in the world, but it's also the birthplace of one Björk Guðmundsdóttir, or Björk as she's more commonly known.
Should I do the what's her dad's name joke again? Or is
I think you don't know. Yes. So Björk, very well known, 40 million records sold. I don't think anybody listening to this, or I don't think there is anybody listening to this, but if there is anybody listening to this,
I don't think either of them would have heard.
But nobody's going to be unfamiliar with Björk. Classically trained, dozens of awards, 40 million records sold, but none of that detracts from the fact that she is a really, really talented young lady. It's probably as well known for her mad attire and her violence at paparazzi as anything. But what some people may not know is that she started out very young. Her first album was released at the age of 11 years old, after she had been growing up on a commune and sung on national radio. She was picked up locally and an album was released at 11. She then went on and she was initially in punk bands. The first band called Spit and Snot, which sounds more like a Kenny Everett scene than anything else. But then she went into jazz fusion and a band called Cork the Bitch's Ass, which is very subtle, not likely to get on to Radio 2 anytime soon. But my first encounter with her was with another early band, KUKL, which means in Iceland sorcery. And the reason that I bumped into her is because when Crass played in Iceland, KUKL supported them. And Crass liked what they heard, so they were one of the many albums, as we've just discussed before, that ended up on Crass's own label. And they released first album, The Eye, in 1984. So knowing that it was on the Crass records and not knowing anything about Björk or her work, buying it seemed like a no-brainer. It was on Crass records. What a surprise when you get it home. Yeah. Because
I remember that. I remember all of that.
Yeah. Not anarcho-punk, but a curious mixture of post-punk avant-garde, bells, flutes and clattering drums and all kinds of stuff. But still with the unmistakable sound of Björk's voice soaring in and out and all over the place. She then went on to Sugar Cubes, 85, 92, which I wasn't very interested in at all. But then when
Really?
yeah,
I thought you liked Sugar Cubes.
no, I've got records, and I've got a VHS video of them playing live. I kind of wanted to like them, but I just couldn't. There's no mistaking Bjork's voice and so on. But the word that always sprung to mind when I thought of Sugar Cubes was just drab. I don't know what.
I'm surprised. I thought you'd. I remember hearing "Birthday."
Yeah.
Their first single for the first time, and it was bonkers.
Yeah, it didn't quite work for me.
Well,
there you go.
Colour me surprised.
Well, there you go. So when Bjork just became Bjork, I think something fundamentally different happened. I don't think anybody could ever say Bjork sounds a bit like whoever, because Bjork is Bjork, and she's got all of this talent for crafting experimental electronics with a jazz sensibility, loads of musical complexity, all wrapped up in pop accessibility, and it totally works, from debut and post through to a cappella like on Medulla and glitchy electronica, as well as producing and appearing in lots of films. I think she is one of those few people you could say is somewhere close to or at genius, because she's just gone out and done this wacky, wild stuff and made it work really well. One of the kind of connections I have with Bjork actually is that many of her early videos were directed by Michel Gondry, and I worked with Michel Gondry myself in the 90s when I composed music for a film shot for commercial by Michel, and that went on to win me a National Designers and Arts Directors Award in 1997 for outstanding use of music. I was mentioned in The Guardian. It was a pinnacle of my strange career.
You bloody lefty.
Well, when the record label, because I was signed to Pi at the time, when the record label called me and said, we've had a call from this agency in London and they want to use some music and want you to mix some music for this commercial, my initial reaction was, fuck off, I'm an anarchist, I don't get doing that kind of thing. But
fair play.
But until they said, well, we're going to pay you this much, and then my principals went out the door a little bit.
Fair enough.
It's worth it. I got an award. But yeah, Bjork. I think Bjork is a proper talent.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't disagree.
Good.
I think I bought her. What was her last album? I definitely bought that.
Oh,
kind of. She's one of those people who's always around, and you kind of. You forget, really, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, you probably don't, but she's just always there.
I think at last,
and I mean,
go
I don't think I'd bought anything. I don't think I'd bought anything of hers for years, and then just happened to buy the last LP because I had to listen to it on Spotify. I thought, well, that's really good. Yeah. And I bought it, but then having said that, I think I probably bought it. I don't think I played it again. It's It's
the trouble, isn't it? There's so much music you can't keep up with even the bands and artists you like.
Absolutely.
I haven't got the last one. The last one was Fossora, which was
that's
2022.
it. Yes, that's the one I've got.
Yeah, I haven't got that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. See, I would have picked Björk on my other list. I've kind of tended to go for newer artists on this and kind of ignored those who are still, because I think I've left some out definitely because I think we'll probably cover them elsewhere. In a category they'll fit more readily into.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So you started off with a very broad suggestion and I narrowed it down, and rather than fit in, you've narrowed it down even further.
Yeah. I know. I have.
We can't get lined up.
I'm fucking useless. No. I think the next one we do, we'll just have to go, right, this is the... I think it is... Well, I think it was because we were too broad in just picking it, doing it by sex, basically.
But it makes sense that when you say it first time round, doesn't it? It makes sense. It's only when you sit down and think about it that you realise that actually you've set yourself a gargantuan challenge.
You've got to put in some. Yeah, you've got to put some constraints in somewhere.
Yeah, lesson learned. Lesson learned.
Yes. Well, that list I sent you the other day of that was one of the reasons why I'd. Well, actually, it was before I realised you'd narrowed this one down. But I was trying to narrow things down to to give us a bit more scope, or a bit less scope in some respects as well.
We're going to end up with a podcast, best artists called David Essex or something.
Do you know what? My friend Brendan has been in touch with me tonight, and she's just said we should do songs you love by bands you really, really dislike.
Oh, right, that's interesting.
That's a good. Which I thought, that's interesting. Yeah. That would be a good. That would be quite interesting. We'll have to mark that one down for the future.
I know you'd had some ideas, and I got a few as well. We'll probably need to have a chat about what we're doing next and what the list looks like.
Absolutely,
because I had loads of ideas flashing about.
Yeah. And the more constraints you put on, the more different podcast. We could do one a week for the next 20 years, or until one of us dies, whichever is.
Yeah, that's ambitious. I think would be the word, ambitious.
Yes, yeah. As if anyone's going to want to listen to us.
No, I won't be able to listen to us. But okay, what's your number 2 then, David?
My number 2 is Phoebe Bridgers. I very much doubt you're aware of Phoebe Bridgers.
No, I don't know Phoebe Bridgers.
She's an American singer-songwriter.
Okay.
Kind of, I think, indie folk music. I think is probably the most apt description. I mean, there's it's acoustic. There is some electric, some electronics in there, but that's the basics of it. I kind of came across her again just buggering about on sites, and her first album came out. It was Stranger in the Alps in 2017, and I loved it. It was just really quiet, really quite melancholy. Lots of songs about, or I probably remember it wrong, but I remember thinking there's loads of songs about death on here, which is always good. She followed that up with an album called Punisher, which was as good. I mean, I've still got a soft spot for Stranger in the Alps, but Punisher was awesome as well. And by that time, Lily had discovered her as well, and we went to see her at Brixton Academy. And I've got to say, it's one of the best gigs I've been to in the last few years. Absolutely fantastic. And she had a live trumpet player, but
always
not
better than a dead trumpet player, I find.
Yeah, well, the dead ones, they're so static.
They are,
It's like, are you going to fucking do something, mate?
What am I paying you for?
Yeah, exactly, bastard. But yeah, the trumpet added this extra melancholy. You know how a trumpet sounds. That.
Yep, I am familiar.
Slowly, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I don't mean it's like it was like a kind of thing.
Okay, lovely.
So added an extra level of melancholy to it, and it was superb. The visuals, the whole thing was. I was gobsmacked. It was so much better than I thought it was. She's since been, she hasn't recorded anything under her own name since that, but she was in a kind of a sad girl indie supergroup called Boy Genius, with Lucy Dacus and Julian Baker, and they released a couple of fantastic LPs as well.
Okay. What's a sad girl supergroup? Is that, what does that mean?
This was a thing. This is a thing that's, I think it's not quite a movement, but a lot of it like Lily kind of and her contemporaries describe it as sad girl indie rock, sad girl indie, and it's like girls singing, sad, melancholy, folky, sometimes electric songs.
Always sad. They don't do any happy.
That was. There are happy ones, but I think if it was happy girl, you just say, oh, whatever,
Okay.
But when it's sad girl, you can go along and be fucking miserable, but have a brilliant time. I think that's.
Okay, I'll try and work that one out.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, and she's fantastic. She's one of the artists where I've said to Lily, if she tours again, do you mind if I go? Because girls and don't come to the gig, Dad. But she's like, yes, you can go and see Phoebe. So yes, so that's my second one. I haven't got into anywhere near as much detail as you do. I start doing a bit of research, think fucking distracted with something, and end up with a few notes, and I'm going, I'm sure I wrote.
I can't hear your paper rustling. No, I don't know if you've got any paper today. Sometimes you have paper.
Yes, my paper does rustle. I picked that up in
oh, you picked that up.
I'm like, I thought you probably think I'm kind of bored and getting bored.
Reading the Guardian again.
Reading a book. Yeah, flick through the sports pages while you're. Come on, Jake, fucking hellfire! You've done far too much research.
Oh, okay.
I'm just looking through my next ones, and my next one's got. There's about 4 lines there.
Yeah, well, I haven't got an awful lot for some of them. Bjork was easy because some of the stuff I knew anyway, because she's grown up with her, and other bits were easily findable. But my number 2, not so much to say about my number 2, but doesn't detract from the fact that she's great. It's Hero Coney. Are you familiar with Hero Coney?
Yes.
Okay.
I am, but I can't think why. Probably because you've sent me.
What have you done?
Well, you wouldn't have sent me a Bandcamp.
No, I wouldn't have done that. Never do that. No, we don't. No.
But I think I've got a feeling you've mentioned her to me before, and I've listened.
Well, Hero Coney is the recording name of New York composer Nicky Mao. And what she's described as, and what I've seen her described as, is experimental techno. I've no idea quite what that means as a genre, because it's not techno in the same way as Richie Hawtin or Jeff Mills or Carl Cox. You couldn't get up and dance easily to music by Hero Coney, but it is totally electronic.
Does she maybe have a stage set with like lots of test tubes and Bunsen burners or something along those lines?
Lab rats listening to her music. It could be. No, I've not seen that. I've never seen her perform, and I've seen some video of her performing, because the way I came across her actually was she and Little Annie Anxiety in 2020 I think. They did some concerts, a concert, and you can see some of that on YouTube, but they did an album called Repossessed, and it's fucking brilliant, and it's Little Annie with her gravelly, time-worn, smoky voice.
Can you do a gravelly, time-worn, smoky voice?
It's like this kind of thing,
good.
with a New York accent as well. Yeah. So she's doing
I think if she ever hears this, she'll be proper fucked off, because no one's going to buy a record after they've heard that.
You'll be in court number 1 defending yourself against Bandcamp, but I'll be in court number 2 beating up with Annie Anxiety. Oh, this is destined to disaster.
Oh, Jake, you bastard.
Was that you, Little Annie?
That was mine. It was shit, wasn't it?
Sound like you just woken up or something. It's yawning. Oh, God. Anyway, yes, but it's a great album.
I can feel myself lapsing into some kind of really bad gangster voice at the same time. Hey, I'm going to make you an offer. You can
Robert De Niro plays Annie Anxiety. Tonight, one night only. Oh, fucking hell, yeah. But, so you got that smoky New York drawl, Little Annie Anxiety, but it's all backed up by this really avant-garde electronic thundering and pulsing and sheets of noise and arrhythmic rhythms. And I thought, that's fucking brilliant. So since then, last 5 years, I've been picking up all the stuff I can from Hero Coney, and it is really, really good. It's more fluid than techno. It's not structured in the same way as techno, and it just sweeps and swooshes and clatters and clangs. It's great. I can't say an awful lot more about it. I'd say, Nicky Mao, alias Hiro Kone is Chinese by descent. And on top of that, because you've mentioned the worthy credentials of some of your favourite in the past, she's very keen on abolishing wealth inequality and rails against the rotten deterioration of our society, particularly incels and racism and exploitation and so on. So she's a pretty cool girl in the way she thinks, in the way she behaves, and in the music she makes.
Cool. Very good.
There you go.
I think I'd like her. I will have another listen to her. I've definitely tried her before. So
yeah, be careful what you say. She'll be suing you as well.
Yeah, Annie Exile will be on for the way. What did you say about her? So my
Oh dear.
we're staying on techno.
Okay.
My next one is Kelly Lee Owens, who is a Welsh electronic musician and producer, and another one makes some absolutely banging techno LPs. The last one was Dream State, and oh my god, it's absolutely brilliant. It's a proper fists in the air techno, bounces up and down. Banger,
So this is more conventional techno, but in a good way. Because I like
Yes,
techno. I don't know why I say
yeah.
in a good way. I love techno music.
No, yeah, I mean it's very much it's a lot nearer the Chemical Brothers than
Big Beat
than probably no, more in a it's more anthemic. It's more anthemic.
Okay.
I mean, if you think of the best Chemical Brothers, not necessarily Big Beat. I mean, Big Beat's kind of going back a few years, really, isn't it? I mean, that was kind of their first LP. That was late '90s, all the Big Beat with Fatboy Slim and Skint Records.
So later Chemical Brothers.
This is later Chemical Brothers. I mean, modern Chemical Brothers. I can't remember what the last Chemical Brothers LP was, but it was. I saw them live at All Points East.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that was amazing. That was.
They do a hell of a show.
Obviously, they do a hell of a show. It was fantastic. I went along with my sister, my younger sister Sian, and we accidentally got stuck in a pub on the way down there and got really pissed. Got there in time, watched Wenzel Kraftwerk, which was fantastic, and then we had VIP tickets, so we sat in the VIP bar, had more to drink, and then trundled off into the VIP pit, and bounced up and down, and had a whale of a time. So that kind of Chemical Brothers.
Gotcha.
I'd thoroughly recommend any of her LPs. I think Kelly Lee Owens, the self-titled one, was the first one. Then there was one called Inner Song, and I think there was one called LP8, which was the third one, confusingly. I'm sure there's a reason for LP8. And then, like I say, Dream State is the best one yet. And, well worth a listen.
Okay.
Well, one of my favourites, yes.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Fabulous. So, number three for you?
I've gone with somebody else you'll probably say is not contemporary enough now since our mismatch on definitions, but somebody I still...
It's Gracie fucking Fields, isn't it?
It's Maria Callas.
Bloody hell, yeah.
No, not quite that else.
It's Doris Day singing Calamity Jane.
It's not quite that far distant. No, somebody who still records, somebody who still performs and creates, somebody who has been around a while, but is nonetheless, again, really, really good at what she does. US experimental composer, painter, sculptor, and performer, as well as photographer, author.
I know you're going to say. Laurie Anderson.
You're absolutely spot on. Yeah.
Yes.
I think,
I love a quiz.
I should test you again further on. I tried doing it that way. Yes, Laurie Anderson. I think she's great, and I think one of her key talents, other than the very, very fine music she makes and the shows that she puts on, is she's such a superb teller of stories. The way she has this soft, soothing New York voice that kind of gets wrapped up in all kinds of electronics, but she tells these great stories, fascinating tales. Sometimes they're true, sometimes I don't think they are fully true, but they're invariably captivating. So far beyond the weird 1981 hit "Oh Superman," I still don't understand what happened there, that it got to the top of the charts. I think it missed out on number one, but it was high in the charts for a long time. She's continued to plough her furrow and make record after record that is simply fantastic, writing books, as I say, and so on. I haven't got a great deal to say about Laurie Anderson. I'm sure there's masses and masses of facts about her. I do know that
she's married to Lou Reed.
Well, she was until Lou died in 2013. This is true.
What? Lou Reed's dead?
Sorry, I had to break it to you in this way. Terrible. Yeah. But yes, Lou died quite a long time ago, longer ago than I thought, really. And
when you said 2013, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Was really?
Yeah, my instinct was maybe
Jesus.
5 or 6 years ago, but time does flash by as the years advance, doesn't it?
It does.
Scary.
Yes.
Scary.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I keep looking at the calendar going, it's August.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah. It's 2025. What? Yeah, it's just flashes by. But what I will say about Laurie Anderson, just, she was NASA's first artist in residence because of her deep involvement in technology and multimedia. And the other fascinating fact that I managed to dig up about her was that she was elected to president of her student council after writing to JFK and getting advice from JFK. And when she was elected, JFK wrote back to her and sent her a load of flowers as well. So,
awesome.
Well-connected lady.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, obviously, these days, I just write straight to Nigel Farage and just say...
Just say what?
What should I do? And then whatever he told me, I just write back to him and say, fuck off, you're a twat. I was just joking.
Whatever the problem you pose to him, the answer would be, stop the immigrants.
Yes,
because he doesn't have any answer for anything else.
No.
But there you go.
No,
anyway.
Not even like, why are you a twat? So, my number 4 is Malibu. Who
what, the
is
drink?
Not the drink, no. And I'm not making any jokes about fucking Malibu or its location because I can't remember where it is. Apart from it's in America somewhere. So Malibu is a French female musician called Barbara Braccini, and she makes as seems to be the theme, is kind of electronic ambient type music, believe it or not. But this is more on the dream pop spectrum, kind of like a submerged synths, reverb, heavy vocals, kind of cinematic textures, that kind of thing. It's all about the atmosphere and emotion, and kind of very much drifting. I don't know, kind of a drifting waves and with synth drones, underpinning everything. But it's absolutely gorgeous. Funnily enough, there's an EP from last year called Palaces of Pity, which is everything I've just described. She had a previous LP that the name of which escapes me, but there was a remix album of that, and that is really good as well. But my favourite thing that she's done is she did a co-production with another female artist called Mealy, and they did an album last year called Essential Mixtape, and it's just a perfect example of that, of what I've just described, kind of ambient, very ambienty, very dreamy, wispy, gauzy, but really fantastic for, again, for putting on your headphones and just drifting off. That, in fact, the Essential Mixtape LP was in my top 10 of the year last year. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. I've kind of that. I don't know whether you remember, there was a German electronic label a few years ago called More, which was MORR. And I think Izan recorded for them, and there was a band called, I think he was a solo artist called Manual, and they did very much. That's the kind of the first time I really remember being aware of this type of kind of dreamy, ambient-y. It's like, it sounds like, sunny day music, for want of a better description.
Okay.
Just perfect for headphones, drifting off. And Manual, he was more kind of guitar based, but along the same lines, and I loved it. And I love Malibu. I think she's absolutely wonderful.
Well, it's another one that I've not come across before. So you've definitely gone with the obscurest but contemporary line.
I did. Do you know I did? I mean, I think I did go quite obscure this time, because as I said earlier, I could think of other ones that I'm being very particular about the contemporary thing.
Yeah.
And there are other people I could have, I could have added. I mean, as I said, Anya from Xmal has just
mentioned her. I think, like you said, you wanted to avoid revisiting anybody that you've been to before.
But
I get
also,
that.
people like, Tracy Thorn, but she's still making music. But recently, as part of Everything But the Girl again. So I I was cancelling things out just by being too specific. Nico Case has got a new LP out, and I really wanted to put her in, but I think I could just slot her into other categories as well, and that'll probably be more fitting. So I have really gone for a lot of these artists are probably of the last 3-4 years,
right?
Really.
You've definitely been very draconian and regulatory on yourself this time round.
Terrible, do. But this is the whole my mental state. I have to do it like this, or I'll just drive myself fucking mental. Damn you, ADHD, damn you.
Well, I took, for my purposes, just narrowed it to solo, as we said earlier. But I took, as long as they're still recording and they had a great place in my kind of adoration and admiration, then they would go in. So I've got a couple of the more obscure. We've already met Hiro Kone, but I've got several that are very well known, and we've already met Laurie Anderson and Björk. But my next one is not as well known as Laurie Anderson or Björk, but you will know of her certainly, and people from a place where they've followed underground music would be very acquainted with this lady. Still recording, and scary. I'll start off by not saying her name and see how far I get before you leap to the microphone excitedly. She's scary. She's a very, very scary lady. And a few years ago, I was interviewed in Zero Tolerance magazine, and I think I offended a number of their readership, probably a large part of their readership, by saying that metal music is characterised by a bunch of people called Colin who all want to look like they're zombies or psychopaths or vampires or something. I don't really get it. They use the same font and they're all accountants or warehousemen, and they want us to believe they're vampires. But I don't think I was very popular for saying that, because Zero Tolerance is a largely metalish music magazine. Metal, but things had to be said. But this lady is genuinely scary. She does, if you turn the lights off, put this on, it is genuinely scary. It is Diamanda Galas. And not only is she scary, really, I get the impression reading about people who have met her that she's not terribly warm and friendly behind the scenes either. I don't think she's much of it's not a scary kind of persona that's put on as an act. But she is incredible. I think she's just absolutely amazing. She is, again, a composer, painter, performance artist. One of the things that I kind of recognise doing this is, a lot of the great female musicians and musical artists have such successful and accomplished creative threads in other fields, painting and writing and sculpting and so on. And I don't think you really see that so much with male artists. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much, but it just occurs to me. But Glass, yes, she is an incredible voice. She's been said she's got a 7 or 8 octave voice, but I think even she's dismissed that. But she does have a particularly distinctive voice that runs to guttural groans and whispering all the way through the incredibly high-pitched shrieking and shouting. She's an incredible musician.
Sounds like my mum when she's mad at me.
Maybe so. I've not seen your mum for many a year, so I couldn't say.
I'm afraid.
But yeah, she's a great musician. She's classically trained, multilingual. She's been playing piano since she was 3 years old, and she's performed classical, jazz, blues music. She's performed Greek music, Arabic music.
Jeepers.
And yeah, she does everything with the album Vina Cava, for example. That's a live album. I don't know if you've heard that one, but that's just processed voice, shrieks and hollers, swooping round and repeated and reverbed. Incredible. And then she'll do something like the Ficciones or You Must Be Certain of the Devil or something, and that's again very, very different. But I think she's great, and I could listen to her for a long, long time, as long as I didn't get too scared. She's also a biochemistry graduate that specialised in immunology and haematology and has campaigned vocally and fervently for...
So she would be good at experimental techniques. She'd already have all the test tubes.
She would have the test tubes, the syringes, the Petri dishes, the whole works. And that would be scary. I mean, if you turned up to see her and it was dark and she said it out like that, the only thing I could think of scarier would be turning up accidentally to a G.G. Allen concert, and that would be very scary.
Yeah, you walk in when he's got a handful of shit. That would be fun.
Oh God, yeah, that would be scary.
Do you know, I've got to be honest, I've never really listened to Amanda Gallas.
Oh right, okay.
I've never. I've been aware of her for decades.
Yeah.
But I've never really. I don't know. I just don't. I think she's one of those people where I just look at her and I'm aware of what she does, and I've just always thought, nah, probably not for me.
No,
well, so I've never
maybe.
really. Yeah. So I've got to be. What nationality is she? German or?
I think her mother was Greek American and her father Egyptian, or an Egyptian line. I think she's got some different mixed up ethnicities in her bloodline, and
okay.
she's multilingual and possibly in those languages. So I'm not 100% certain, but she's well worth listening. Not all of her work is incredible. Some of the stuff she did with. What's Led Zeppelin's bassist? John Paul Jones.
Right, yeah.
This Sport in Life, I think the album, that's not so great. I think it's a bit forced. But the stuff where it's her and a piano, some processing and voice is there's a lot of stuff in there that reduces me to tears. It's so fantastically moving, and if we do it at some point in the future, kind of sad songs, I'm sure there will be at least one of hers in there. But yeah,
no doubt.
Well worth looking out for.
Oh, okay. Well, I will have a listen to whichever track you pick for the Spotify playlist.
Indeed.
And I'll have a listen.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so moving on. Number 5 for me is the Hardy Tree. Now, the Hardy Tree
You got
is
me again there.
a lady called Frances Castle, who is, as well as being a musician and a very, very good musician, is an illustrator, and she's also the owner of Claypipe Records, which is one of my favourite record labels. Again, of a thing, a very, you're talking quiet music, very kind of, I think the word is pastoral music.
Okay.
It's particularly English label, and the music I always think sounds very, very English stroke British, because I better say British, because I think there's a couple of Scottish guys on there who record. So not that they ever hear this and come after me going, "Oh, that fucking dear," So
They'll be in court number 4.
yeah,
when you
absolutely,
finish.
yeah. We'll have a full day. We'll have a full day at the magistrates.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Hardy Tree is very the Hardy Tree. The music is all, to my knowledge, kind of London based, and kind of a lot of it refers to London. I mean, the Hardy Tree is a landmark in London itself. It's kind of, there's ambient textures, there's kind of a minimalist piano, field recordings as well, and it all gives this kind of melancholy sense of memory and place. There are samples of one of them is very particular and has got like kind of samples of a market in London, and it's fabulous. A lot of and kind of based on old London, not like 60, but the things just out of memory, just like 50s, 60s. I mean, a lot of this I'm putting on how I see it. I mean, I know this is the basic, but I think you can interpret it how it's very introspective and very atmospheric. And one of the quotes I read was, "It's like a faded photograph brought to life through sound." But absolutely brilliant. Again, at the risk of repeating myself over and over, it is very much headphone music. Could drift off, really get a sense of place with it.
Right.
There's several albums, all on Claypipe Records. Claypipe Records, worth buying purely for the artwork, which is mainly done by Frances herself. I have actually met her a couple of times at the independent label market. But I go all fanboy. I go, "Oh no, Frances, nice to meet you," and I never know quite what to say to her.
You don't have to put your headphones on to talk to her, do you?
Yeah, probably. I'd probably have to record myself and then play it back as a found sound or something. But I thoroughly recommend anything on Claypipe Records. It is one of my favourite record labels. And as I say, it's got its own identity. That's what I love about it so much. From the artwork that Frances does. I mean, you can normally buy prints from the artwork as well. I've got one up in my front room. You've probably seen it. The one that's by those two. It's like a house with a moon over the top of it.
Yeah.
And they've got and she does she designs little enamel badges for each release as well. It's fantastic all round. I love Claypipe Records. I love the Hardy Tree, and I love Frances. I think she's absolutely fantastic. Very rarely plays live. The last time she played live, I couldn't get to, it was in London somewhere, some small place in London. I couldn't bloody get there. So I'm hoping that she'll. Not that I can afford to buy bloody gig tickets at the moment. Bloody cost of living and everything. But yeah. So yes, that's my that was my next one, the Hardy Tree. Absolutely brilliant. Thoroughly recommend it. I'm looking forward to picking a track to put. It would be really hard actually to pick a particular track to put on. Because they're just all so good.
It is hard, isn't it, when we're talking each week about bands that we really like, some of which we've liked for years and years, and you've got to pick out one track. It is incredibly hard, especially when you're talking about an artist who has very different styles, record by record. It is difficult. Maybe we should do just playlists that are hours and hours long.
I've got to be honest. I've hummed and hard that long from time to time that I just picked the most popular on Spotify in the end.
Okay.
Because it's. I mean, because normally it's normally you can't go wrong with that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it is very tricky. It's very tricky. It's like when you used to do mixtapes when you were.
Yeah.
Mixtapes for a girl and things like that, and you had to think so long and hard about what that next track was going to be, and it's got you've got to start off strong and then slow in the middle, then end with a flourish.
Okay. My next one is Lane Shi Ote One, which is probably I don't know. Have you heard of Ote One?
I didn't know whether you were telling me her name or you were describing your location on what 3 words.
No, definitely her name. She's Mandarin Chinese, an electronic composer based kind of dual base New York and Shanghai. But she's again another one that I really, really like. She played in a few bands, but her first solo album, Nag, was only released in 2018. So this is proper contemporary, still recorded and quite recent. She's really, really cool though. It's electronics again. I'm not sure if there are strings in there. They may be synthesized, a lot of processed acoustic instruments as well. And she has a very distinctive voice, a very curious vocal style that's evidently Asian. I mean, as I say, she is Chinese, evidently Asian, not necessarily articulating any words in particular, but kind of like horror film nursery rhymes to some extent, little funny sweet little tunes that are getting trashed and swiped and subsumed and thrown out with all this glitch tronica and broken bits of melody and noise. To be honest, some of it could have come out of the Death Factory, Throbbing Gristle's studio in London.
I am intrigued with what you've said so far.
Good.
I've got to admit.
Good. But like you, I mean,
whether that'll actually translate to me, like, I have no idea. But yes,
just talking, yeah. Well, it is good. I think it is good, and she's again, like you were saying earlier, on one of the greats of current labels, label WV Sorcerer, which is a French-Chinese label, and they come out with some fantastic releases, really avant-garde, some noise, ambient stuff. They're all really lovely packaged. Vinyl, and it's really great. It's a label I really like. So you got the first album, Nag is brilliant. Then 2021, Ming Ming, another really good album. Again, a collision of sweet nursery rhyme-like tunes, adorned with kind of walls of electronic detritus and uncertain acoustic instruments and showers of noise coming in and out. So I suppose you could perhaps call it ambient music, but it's ambient music for people in pain, people who need to be pushed to be distracted rather than being cosseted within warm drone tones. Because I guess ambient music is as much about distraction as anything. It's kind of like transferring your thought to somewhere else, and sometimes that's sit in the dark with your headphones on and drift away, carried up by clouds of Korg keyboards and stuff. But sometimes it's about being pummeled out of reality, and kind of swept up in a vortex of ever-changing noise. And whilst all of that's true, I don't want anybody to think that Ote Onai is all about true industrial music. Some of it could have come from the Death Factory, but a lot of it is clearly not that type of full-on confrontational noise. Some of it is harder than others, but I think overall she's a fantastic artist, and I think great things still to come.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Good.
I don't. Yeah, I think it is. I couldn't quite work out the horror film.
The nursery kind of tunes.
Yeah,
It is a bit odd.
But
It is a bit odd.
I've got
You'll
an
get
idea.
it. You'll get it when you hear
I'm
it.
sure I will. Yes, yes, yeah. Well, I assume she'll be on Spotify, so we can bung something.
I'm sure she will be. Yes, I'll pick an appropriate representative tune.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Okay, over to you.
It's over to me. So my next pick is Hilary Woods.
Now one I've heard of at last.
Oh, hurrah! So Hilary Woods is an Irish musician and was originally the bass player in a band called JJ72, who were kind of, I don't know, really grungy rock kind of thing in the early noughties. They split up. She went off back to Ireland, and again, no surprise here, very ambient-y, very electronic, atmospheric. Her first album was called Cult, and that was my absolute favourite. I love that. I still play it all the time. Again, very introspective, melancholic, lots of and kind of quite mystical. I think that the vibe she gives off is that of very mystical, very mysterious. She records her music for Sacred Bones Records in America, who have they've got this kind of, I don't want to say, I hate to say gothy kind of reputation, but it is, kind of dark music. I think they've put some Zola Jesus out. They re-released the latest X-Mal Deutschland stuff.
Okay.
And her music does seem to be getting darker and darker. The latest LP was kind of not a massive departure from the first, but you can definitely see that it getting darker as it goes along.
Was that Birthmarks?
That was the second one. The latest one was called, I can't bloody remember, so now I'm kind of trying to Google it. I've got it as well, and you know what my memory's like. Of course, my as usual, my research. Sorry, so this is what happens. This is what happens when I try and multitask. I just kind of grind to a halt.
It was
so the latest
task.
one was called Acts of Light.
Okay.
Acts of Light was the latest one. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
And my copy came with a free candle. Came with a Hilary Woods candle. Yeah, it was really cool. I love getting free shit with music, but yeah. But yes, I definitely recommend. Recommend it. And Cult. I mean, there's such great tunes to pick from. I will. In fact, I was listening to. In preparation for this, I did have a listen to a lot of the artists I was going to mention, just to kind of remind myself.
Yeah.
And Cult is one of my favourite albums of the last few years. I mean, favourite albums of the last few years, I have about 3,000, but this is one of them. I will put one. I will put a track on the playlist. So yeah, Hilary Woods.
Excellent.
Very good. And you'd heard of her, so
I know. I've got Birthmarks. Not that I've got Birthmarks, but I've got the record Birthmarks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Birthmarks was the second LP.
Yes. She's
done other bits and bobs. There's a tape. I think she's done a couple of really good. Actually, a couple of the LPs from Sacred Bones. They came with mixtapes of and I've got one somewhere. And it's I love a mixtape. I think mixtapes are great. Any compilations. Because there's always something you've never heard.
Yeah.
But she's done a couple of good ones, and I got one, and that was really good. There was also a series that Boomcat Records did, where they got their favourite artists just to record, one-off pieces of music for them and to release them on tape. I've got one of those as well, which is really good. Yeah, I mean everything she does is fantastic.
Okay, well, there's potentially another idea there, because like you, I do like the adventure of a compilation album. So maybe there's an opportunity for our favourite compilations or best discoveries accidental through purchasing compilation albums. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good bit. And we'll both pick 20 of another kind. I can fucking guarantee that. So you know exactly what I'm talking. You remember that one, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well that one can stay off the list. I'm sure we will. There's a danger we could still end up crossing over, but that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem. I think we've done it before, haven't we? On one or two. Ex-Mal Deutschland we both had on a list.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No matter. Anyway, okay. I've come back for my next one from pure contemporary into a well-established artist who still recording, but is right up there in my admiration as a female solo artist. And it's PJ Harvey.
Is it Kylie again?
No, it's not Kylie. Definitely, it's PJ Harvey. PJ Harvey, you can't have a list of great solo females without having PJ Harvey someone
absolutely
in there.
She was on a very early list that I did.
Okay.
The Peach,
as
we call her.
Do you call her the
Peach? No, I don't. I just made that up.
I'm glad to hear it. And everybody, I'm sure, will know. Most people will have heard of PJ Harvey and be to some degree acquainted with her work. But it is great stuff. She's a great songsmith, and she writes and performs incredibly grungy but impassioned kind of rock music to some degree. She's been described as being grunge, although even though Kurt Cobain was known to be a big fan, I don't ever remember reading of her appreciating that accolade or otherwise.
I think that's an awful. I would never have put her under grunge.
No.
I mean, she's one of those artists where if you look where she started and you look where she is now,
definitely a long way now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a hell of a curve, isn't there?
Yeah, there
really?
is. Yeah. But whatever genre you try to stick her in, there's no doubting her talent. Although the first couple of albums was strictly speaking the not a solo artist, so Dry wasn't a solo as such. It was PJ Harvey Trio, and she split that up. But I kind of consider that still solo. And that man again gets mentioned, Steve Albini, because he produced Rid of Me.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Back he comes again, another repeat offender in our podcast list, a man who's made a mark here, there and everywhere. But yeah,
stick him in the drinking game with Keith Records.
Yeah, we missed out Keith Records, I think, haven't we? Completely today. Don't know how that's happened. Yeah. So drop him in there. Keith Records.
Well, I think if we'll have to do a punk one soon.
Definitely,
because I think we're both gagging to do it.
Yeah,
that will definitely have lots of mentions of Keith Records.
Yeah, it is. I did reflect on the fact when I looked at the last podcast that we did. I did reflect on the fact that predominantly our youth, our young adulthood was shaped by torrents and torrents of punk, and yet by looking at any of our playlists, you wouldn't really get that.
No, it's weird, isn't it? I've thought that. Yeah, it is. But I think it's. I think that is the importance. I mean, again, without wish to go on about it, is establishing in the parameters of each particular podcast.
Yeah.
Because like it or not, we've both been listening to music for 45 years now.
Yeah.
Pretty much non-stop. And and we've never. I don't think either of us have really rested on our laurels when it comes to the consumption of music. I mean, we're not those kind of, oh no, I love Stiff Little Fingers and that's it.
No.
I'm progressive. We still like to discover. Well, given the contemporariness of our lists here.
Indeed, and the range all our lists cover. I think we are nothing if not explorers in sonic landscapes.
I believe we are. I'm going to have that tattooed on my arse, I think.
Make sure they spell it right.
So, yeah, maybe some carefully placed O or something.
Dear. Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't need to say an awful lot about PJ Harvey, but when you look through, all that kind of noisy grunge stuff, and then to an album like White Chalk, which was all around piano, and then taking on the Hope 6 Demolition Project, which curiously saw her encased in a glass case in the grounds of Somerset House in London to record her album in full view of the public, which is an interesting concept. Certainly not one of my favourite PJ Harvey albums, but it's an interesting concept nonetheless.
No. What was the last album called?
Was it Inside
really
the Old Year Dying?
Yes,
yeah, that's the last
I
one,
really
wasn't
enjoyed
it?
that.
Yeah.
I really, I've enjoyed everything. I don't think there's any naff albums.
No.
There's nothing that you kind of go, well, that was shit.
No,
I mean everything's great. Even those that she's kind of released albums of demos of
that's
all
right.
the and they've all been very good. A lot of them are kind of a bit too close to the originals to really merit releasing. I think.
Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, when you release an album that's you and a piano, and the demo is the same songs with you and a piano.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, that's one of the failings you get quite often with reissues, because they package them up and say, we're going to include some demos, and the demos are either too close to the original or they're shit, and you don't want to listen to them anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things I always used to like about the Cure years ago. If you used to go and buy a Cure bootleg, at Camden Market or wherever, they'd be road testing new songs. So you'd have versions of A Forest when it was first written, that kind of by the time it was recorded didn't really sound that much like when they first road tested it.
Yeah.
And the Cure, I think the Cure demos on those deluxe editions are well worth listening to, because they do, you can see where they started, and then by listening to the end of it, you can see where they got to. But a lot of the stuff is just like, it just sounds like the fucking the product. What's the point?
I was trying to think of anything that I'd bought that had got additional kind of bonus tracks, and I kind of think they should have stayed on the cutting room floor. If an album's a classic album, why do you want to? Well, we've probably been through it before, so I'll drop it. But so yes, PJ Harvey, banger on the list. Another one that picking a playlist tune is going to be a case of which one of these several hundred are the best. So I'll find something. I'll pick out
one. Totally. My number 7 is Julia Sophie, and she is an Anglo-French singer-songwriter, and so it says in my copious notes, avant-garde electronic pop artist, whose music blends deeply personal confessional lyrics with experimental synth-driven production, which is spot on, really. She did an album last year that kind of caught me totally by surprise, and it was wonderful. She'd done a couple of EPs before. One was called Y, I think, because it's the letter Y and a question mark, and the other one is called, I don't fucking know, it's just a simple thing as well. So
get your
and
notes.
they were ambient eclipse. This is on my bloody notes.
You've written down, I don't remember what that was called.
Yeah, no, well, I never knew anyway, so it wouldn't have made any difference. I've listened to them, but I short of ringing her up and going, what the fucking hell does that mean? I don't know. but the debut album came out last year, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Kind of just electronic pop, really. But it had a single called Telephone that's just glorious. It is just one of those. It's one of those perfect pop singles that you come across every now and again. Just really slow and wistful, but with a banger of a bloody chorus, and a total earworm. I was singing it for bloody ages after it. Just couldn't stop playing it. It's a really good, really, really, really good pop. It's one of those ones where I know I've said this before, but in a perfect world, it would be number one in the charts. Because it kind of completely folds in with our definition of what a good pop song should be.
Yeah, I don't think the charts reflect anything of what we would consider good. I don't know any of the chart records today.
I wouldn't even bother anymore.
No.
I mean, I think since... Well, I think we had this conversation in the first...
We might have done, yeah.
In the first podcast, yeah. I mean, since, they brought in, MP3s... or downloads, I should say. Sorry. Once they brought in downloads into the equation, with no real, with no real rules of how, you just filled with the top 20 songs of like 13 songs from Ed Sheeran's new LP, and it's like, that's fucking world. Pointless.
Yeah.
Well, it's pointless, really, isn't it? Yeah. It's pointless, and I don't see why you couldn't have nominated a particular song from your album to be the single, which I think some of them do, but then just count that in the charts and have proper charts rather than everything just go banging in at once, and then possibly have a time limit on said single. You've got 8 weeks and then it goes out, or you do tend to get, especially with downloads and because you're ending up with all manner of old bollocks in there that really. You're where the Christmas single for a lot of people was a big deal, and now it's like whoever can get enough people to download, Killing in the Name of, or that fucking sausage roll bollocks.
I was trying to think of that person who keeps getting people on YouTube or whatever to download. Yeah, I think I've set you off on a tirade proper there.
Yes, I do love a tirade.
Not that I disagree with anything, but it doesn't really matter because the charts form. I don't know, even if they reconfigured it or reset the format, I don't think I'd ever have an interest in the charts again because, like I said earlier, it's so easy to find so many good records. I can't buy them all anyway, let alone listen to them all.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I think I would imagine that for the charts for the youth of today, it is the same. It works the same as they're used to that. That's just how it works. Yeah. Whereas we would always be going, why is there no bloody punk stuff in here, and why is fucking St Winifred's school choir still number one?
The Exploited would turn up with Dead Cities or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's always been quite divisive. Yeah, but I think. For our generation, it was, and again at the risk of repeating ourselves, it was, it was a different world, and that was, Top of the Pops was one of the only exposures to music, that we had on TV, and I think that I know we've mentioned before doing an episode just on, music TV as we remember it from the 70s up to the beginning of the internet when you could see the videos you want to see at any time, on YouTube. I mean, but it's when you say to I'm going to sound like a proper old twat, which I am.
When you say to a youngster.
But you do. I mean, I talk to the girls and say to them, well, this is how we used to consume music, and they're like, what? Bloody hell!
But they think it sounds crap, doesn't it? They think it sounds crap. Yeah. How did you only manage with like 3 TV shows? And
absolutely. But I think it would be good. It would be good fun to list as many as we can actually remember, and then just have a ramble through them for an hour. Yeah. We'll have to, we'll have to add that to the list and do that at some point.
Absolutely.
So yes, so that was Julia Sophie. I would definitely be putting Telephone onto the playlist because it is an absolute classic pop single.
Okay.
And I think everyone will love it.
Everyone will love it. Okay, well, it's
Yeah,
another
so
one.
number 7 in this another marathon bloody podcast. Goodness sake.
Lots of rambling on, but it's all interesting to us, and who cares about everybody else? The one or two people that have stuck with us, if indeed they are still there. Okay, well,
actually, just on the side, we seem to have about 40 regular listeners.
Regular listeners. Oh wow!
Yes.
Okay. Hello, all of you.
And I'm as surprised as you are about that. But yes, I do keep an eye on the stats. I am in charge of the uploading and the social media, as you probably all know, and I do keep an eye on the stats. And yes, it is surprisingly. I'm not going to say popular because that might be pushing it a bit. But it's a lot more popular. I think either of us have ever thought it would be.
Yeah, good.
You know,
well, I don't
think we're ever going to retire on it. But
we making any money?
Thank you everybody for continuing to put up with our banal old shite.
There's a lot of people that need more in their lives, obviously, and we're just filling a temporary gap. I don't know because I'm not an any.
That's right. Slag off the audience. That was fucking old.
You feel it going down. You know, I don't have any social media, as I've said before. So I know you run a Facebook page. I don't know if we get much conversation on there or anything. But thank you all for
there were a few
participating.
There were a few comments. Yes,
Good.
But yes, thank you to everybody.
Okay. Good.
Anyway,
good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to butt in there.
That's okay. There's no butting in this world. So my next one is when I was going through my memory banks and going through my records. What female soloists truly deserve to be recognised, and who might not get recognised on another
contemporary, obviously.
Well, you know, the contemporary was a completely left field proposition.
You fucking said contemporary. Don't you be adding Dana to the list or somebody now.
Well, I'm going to mention Kate Bush because, you know.
Oh, you bastard! I had Kate Bush on my original.
Well, there you go.
See, I dismissed Kate Bush because she never fucking released anything anymore. She hasn't released anything from a bloody donkey.
She hasn't.
So I didn't. So I thought, nah, she's not contemporary.
She's still alive. That'll do.
That's right. Change the fucking criteria as we actually go along. Jesus.
Well, look, you know, again, I don't need to say a lot about Kate Bush, but you
Come
know,
on, get it over
with. Wow, as in the single. I didn't plan that. Wow, Kate Bush has been brilliant. Jaw-droppingly gorgeous voice, fantastic compositional talent, precocious for her age. You know, beautiful music, beautiful sounds, and innovating as well. You know, she was one of the first to really throw Fairlight CMI out there on a mainstream record, on The Dreaming, and then in 1985's Hound of Loves, which is almost entirely done on Fairlight CMI and other electronics. She really kind of took the ball by both horns, and you know, irrespective of the instruments, she was just writing such fabulous songs. Again, great stories, a voice like a melted galaxy chocolate bar. I commend.
Oh, get you.
Sure, red.
Melted God.
It's just lovely. You know,
her voice. You're saying her voice is brown and gooey.
And overpriced.
Yeah, she'll love you for that when she listens to this.
She will, no doubt about it. And I'll be invited. I saw that's the funny thing I was going to say. And I'll be invited to a studio. I saw her house and studio, or former house and studio, was on sale a year or two ago. Don't know what that was all about, but it would have been nice to have bought that. A bit outside the price range, but very nice.
Was that a couple of mil, 3 mil?
I think it was certainly several millions. I don't even know if the price was listed. It was one of those price on application ones. But yeah, so
you could have bought it and renamed it Wuthering Heights.
Withering Heights.
Yeah, well, that's probably more.
Withering Fights.
My heights are withering. Because of the length of this podcast.
Yes. Our 40 listeners are hanging on by their fingernails. Yeah. Please end it. please end it.
Oh dear, oh
But
dear.
yeah, she's on there. I've put her on there. Everybody knows who she is, and I'd be very doubtful if there's anybody amongst our audience that could say Kate Bush is anything other than talented and extremely listenable.
Yes, I totally agree. As I say, she was on my original list, and the original list I did when it was just like girls. The first 7 just flew off so easily.
Yeah.
And Kate Bush was definitely in there. I just think she's fantastic. I for some reason to this day, as we've pointed out, on many occasions, I can barely remember my name, but I remember all the words of Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
And all the dance moves as well. No, not really. I do, but I do remember all.
I'd like to
all
see
the
you
words of
try
Wuthering
that.
Heights. Oh God, not on my back. Christ, I'd be laid up for about 3 weeks.
It would be a definite.
after trying
It would
that.
be a definite viral clip on YouTube. I think the youngsters
Absolutely,
call
yeah.
it.
And she and Wuthering Heights came out of the height of punk as well. And we still all loved it.
Yeah.
Even when we were in our militant punk,
Yeah.
I hate Pink Floyd kind of stage. But Kate Bush was still adored by everybody, really.
I would just like to point out we've covered the I hate Pink Floyd bit before. You hated
Yes.
Pink Floyd, I didn't.
Yeah, I just like to put it in because I know it fucking annoys you. That's all. But yeah, so we all love. I mean, we all love Kate Bush, and I mean some of the. I mean, I was listening to this woman's work the other day. Oh, what a gorgeous song!
Yeah.
Gorgeous song, and of course, Run Up That Hill, getting popular with the Stranger Things crowd
That's right.
as well.
Yeah.
And yes, I think she's an absolute genius. So yes, I commend that.
Good.
Although contemporary, I don't fucking think so. you
Happened in
cheeky
my
twat.
lifetime. That's going for it.
Yeah. Honestly.
Go on, moving
Okay.
on. Then you can
So
bamboozle
my
me
next
with another.
one is Mary Lattimore.
Ah, well, she was going to be on my list. Very close. Very close.
Wanker. Yes, so I love Mary Lattimore. She is a American harpist, and of all the instruments, you just don't associate harp with kind of contemporary music, really, do you?
No.
Am I being harsh there? I mean, I know you had Joanna Newsom, but she was that was a bit left field as well, wasn't it? He was like, what?
Yeah.
Harp? But she's wonderful. Properly, ethereal, I think is the word. And the way she layers it, I went to see, I saw her live last year at the Scala, and it was fantastic. It's like, she's got one of these I don't know what they're called, loop machine, you know what they're called, like the kind of thing that bloody Ed Sheeran uses, and she'll start picking out a certain tune on the harp, hit the loop button, that will go, then she'll pick out another one, and then she builds it up, and it's just fabulous. Kind of, it's kind of quite experimental, but at the same time sounds quite classical to a degree, and even quite cinematic as well. But these ambient loops, and you think it would be the most boring thing to watch live, but it was just fantastic. She just got this loop box on her lap, and you just totally carried away with it. Absolutely wonderful. And she's done so much record as well. She's even recorded an album with Mac from Superchunk,
Right.
one of my favourite indie punk bands of all time, who at some point I will find a fucking excuse to crowbar into one of these podcasts, because they are quite wonderful. So the last album she did was Goodbye Hotel Arcada, I think, but Silver Ladders is a great one. Hundreds of Days. I'm going by the ones I actually own physically. There's lots and lots of stuff to pick from on Spotify, and I totally, if you want to hear something different, just marvelous, absolutely marvelous. And I think she's I've a feeling she said when I saw her live, she mentioned that she does come back to England a lot, and I think she's got a base in England. I'm not sure.
All right.
Not like Space 1999 Space or anything like that. Or, I think she just comes back to Europe quite regularly. So yeah, if you get a chance to see her live, or even if you can find live on YouTube, just to see what I'm talking about and how she goes about constructing the music in a live setting, fascinating, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I think she's fantastic.
No, don't disagree with that. I think she tours quite a lot, actually. I think I've read about her carting her harp around on trains and buses and stuff in the early days, which must have been quite a challenge.
It's a fucking great big harp.
Indeed.
It's not one of these little... It's not like these tiny harps. It's a bloody great big harp.
Proper harp.
It's a whopper. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you. It's mesmerising stuff. It's simple and complex at the same time, and there's a lot of repetition in there as it just slowly evolves. It is lovely stuff, certainly.
Yeah, and you see, and from our generation, I think you'd associate the harp with some lady on a Saturday night variety show who'd come on and do you know what I mean?
New Faces and Mickey Mouse.
Well, and you would.
Yeah.
That's the only place you'd see a bloody harp.
True enough.
But she's fabulous.
Yeah, good.
So, so over to you. See if we can get through these last few.
Okay.
Try and keep it in under 10 hours this week.
Okay. Next one on my list is Jocelyn Pook. I don't know if you're familiar with Jocelyn Pook. Silence would suggest
don't know
possibly
why.
not. Okay, maybe an unfamiliar name, but she will have probably reached your ears somewhere along the line, because she has worked with This Mortal Coil as an arranger, PJ Harvey, The Stranglers, Nick Cave, Laurie Anderson. Worked with a lot of different people. One of whom she's worked with, Melanie Pappenheim, is also she's got an incredible voice. So this entry is really around composer Jocelyn Pook and her close and long-time collaborator Melanie Pappenheim. She's also performed on Glastonbury's Pyramid stage as part of the English National Ballet, because Jocelyn Pook...
What, dancing?
No, Jocelyn Pook is by training a viola player, but she creates and composes music which, to be honest, is not hugely dissimilar to This Mortal Coil. It is lush strings. It is fantastic ethereal voices, one of which is Melanie Pappenheim, but there are samples and lovely arrangements. Gorgeous stuff. I first came across Pook and Pappenheim when I'd seen the performance of the show Strange Fish by the very excellent DV8 Physical Theatre in 1992. The DV8 Physical Theatre, which sadly no longer persists, put on a performance of Strange Fish, which is incredible theatrical story about relationships and fear of being alone and desire to be accepted and liked, and it's very avant-garde contemporary.
So basically my life.
Just watch it. It's a theatrical production, but it's contemporary dance. It's a story told through contemporary dance with the music of Pook and Pappenheim running through it, and it's very avant-garde. And it's absolutely superb. A lot of the DV8 Physical Theatre productions are great, but this one with the music combination as well. Melanie Pappenheim, as well as singing in it, she appears in it and she gets crucified semi-naked in the final scene as she continues to sing in a beautiful voice. But
as you do.
But Pook hasn't done very many albums that are standalone albums. There's only 3 standalone albums really, but she's got a massive catalogue of film scores. So she scored Gangs of New York, Eyes Wide Shut, The Kingmaker, various others. But the music on the albums that she has done, particularly Untold Stories, can't remember, and Flood. Great albums, great lush atmospheric soundscapes, which, like I said, if you are a fan of This Mortal Coil, the chances are you will get Jocelyn Pook.
I had heard, the name rang a bell, and I just couldn't think why. But that it possibly This Mortal Coil connection.
Might be.
And going from that, I think we also should have added avant-garde and ethereal to the drinking game, because they've popped up several times.
Entirely true. Yes,
with my insistence on making everybody ambient tonight for some fucking reason. And quiet. I was obviously in one of those reflective moods when I wrote this list and thought I just need a nice quiet soundtrack. So I think this will be a very drifty off playlist. Actually, I think this will be an ideal for people who are suffering from a bit of insomnia, want something nice and quiet to listen to.
But make sure you stick things like Hiro Kone or Ote Onai somewhere in the middle, so let people get drifting off, and then they'll get blasted with.
And then wake them up,
with
some horror film nursery rhymes, or
something like that. Yes,
described as. Jeebus. Yeah. Well, I've got a relatively loud one now.
Okay. Cool.
In a quiet kind of way. My number 9 is Emma Ruth Rundle. And I was expecting you to have heard of Emma Ruth Rundle.
I don't think so.
But obviously not.
I don't think so.
So Emma Ruth Rundle, I'm pretty sure I should have written this down. I'm pretty sure she used to be in a band called Red Sparrows, who were kind of in that post-rock kind of, post-rock really, Godspeed You Black Emperor, Mogwai, lovely soundscapes of that could sometime turn into crushing noise and then back. And Emma Ruth Rundle has kind of carried that on to a degree, and it's kind of it's kind of post-rocky, but there's a definite gothic folky sound to it as well. It's like crushing guitars with her kind of really lovely voice over the top, but not in a kind of wispy way. She's just a really, really good singer. And it's kind of like almost like Mogwai with a girl singer, fantastic. Again, very slow burning, a lot of melancholy in there. Should have added melancholy to the list of words as well. But at the same time, this kind of a raw catharsis, I think, is how I saw it written down. I really like an album called On Dark Horses that she did, and I listened to that again today, and that is probably my favourite Emma Ruth Rundle LP. I like everything she's done. She did one a few years ago with a band called Thou. I don't know whether you've heard of Thou. They're very crushing metal.
Yes, I think I have heard of those actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and so her kind of almost dreamlike vocals over the top of this crushing weight of sludge metal.
Right.
And all done in such a fabulously atmospheric way, and she gets kind of better all the time, really. And there's a definite start point, and you can see the same as kind of Hilary Woods, really. You can see where she started. You can follow that journey along and see how she's got to where she is now. And absolutely brilliant. I really wanted to go and see her. I think she was playing somewhere in London last year, and I had to take one of the girls to a gig. I promised to take the girls, and I couldn't get to both. So I still haven't seen her live. I would really love to see her live. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend it. Kind of a bit of the ambient-y kind of dreamlike stuff I've been listening to all night, but this is a louder version. The instrumentation behind it is a lot heavier and a lot more crushing, so I better put that at the end.
Okay.
So everyone's fast asleep by the time they might wake up. Oh my God, he's put Emma Ruth Rundle on. Fantastic though, absolutely fantastic. Thoroughly recommend it.
Okay.
Thoroughly recommend it.
Listen to for that. Good. Okay.
Yes, I think you'd really like her. I think it's proper up your street.
Sounds
It
a
really
bit
is.
like Jarbo with Neurosis, and then
yeah,
Jarbo with J.K.
yeah.
Flesh as well. Kind of like
That was a great
Yeah.
LP. That was, yes, I remember.
that's the kind
yeah,
of picture.
I
That's the
had
kind of
that.
image I'm getting from the way you describe it. Although perhaps a more delicate voice than Jarbo, who's got quite a punchy voice. I don't know.
It's not quite delicate, but I mean, she's got some power there. Don't get me wrong. Have a listen. Listen to it and see what you think.
Look forward to it.
It's really good. I really like it. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, my number 9, I think, is two women actually, but it's not a band, so let's not get too defensive about breaking the definitions.
There better be Siamese twins, or you're in trouble, mate. I'll tell you that for now.
Okay, Sian O'Gorman and Philippa Niels. Do that ring any bells?
Not a single tinkle.
Not a single tinkle. Will do when I tell you who they are. Because O'Gorman is musical director and Niels creative producer behind the fabulous experimental electronic drone choir Nix.
Oh, yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
So Nix are a drone choir. It's electronics and voices, and they create some fabulous soundscapes. I think, actually, Dave, you introduced me to them some years ago. But
yes, I did. Don't go on too much because you're going to spoil my number 10.
Okay, I try not to go on too much, but I'll just kind of say, Nix are named after a Greek goddess of the night, born out of chaos, and the music certainly kind of represents that to some degree. A lot of it is kind of ceremonial, feels kind of ritualistic, conjures sonic images of covens of witches and tribal religious incantations and hammer horror films and pagan cults and that kind of thing. They're not a band...
Just like living back in March, basically.
Yes, every time you step out of the red line, you're back there. Yes. It is. I mean, it's that kind of small town wilderness, isolation, anything's possible feel, really. But they're not a band. And strangely enough, O'Gorman and Niels are both New Zealanders, but they'd never met until they bumped into each other in Europe. And they got this idea of taking the conventional kind of choir and vocal arrangements and doing something really quite different, and using whatever bits and pieces of electronics they had around them, or what people they knew had. None of them were really terribly adept at using them, but they're just guitar pedals and things like that, and throwing voices through it. And they've become a collective now, a very widely respected collective. And they run workshops even. So even if you're not a singer, you can go down to London to their workshops on occasion and get involved in this somatic embodiment of music, these kind of sessions they have. But it is great. I won't go on. It's mysterious, it's eerie, it's beautiful soundscapes oriented around voices and electronics, drones that fracture and soar and plunge into electronics and field sounds. Very creepy at times, very beautiful at times, very worth listening to.
Excellent. Which leads me into my number 10, which is Gazelle Twin.
Ah!
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And Gazelle Twin recorded an album with Nix.
They did.
And that is what I passed on to you,
Yeah.
and you heard, and then obviously... So Gazelle Twin is Elizabeth Bernholtz. And the music she makes is very electronic, experimental, industrial, ambient at times, with and at times very unsettling, with distorted vocals and vocal textures, and there's a real kind of theatricality to it as well. She also does soundtracks as well, but the album I discovered her is one called Pastoral, and Pastoral was released probably 7 or 8 years ago now, I would think. But she re-recorded some of the tracks with Nix, and as an album called Deep England, which again is what I shared with you, because I just thought, That's right up his street. He'll like that.
I did.
The latest album was Black Dog, and that was another one where she played a show at Shepherd's Bush at Bush Hall, and I couldn't go because I had a bloody gig the night before and the night after in London, and I just couldn't afford to keep going backwards and forwards. So I had to miss it. She's done a couple since that again I didn't manage to get down to. So I still haven't seen it live. I really want to, because apparently the Black Dog show was absolutely amazing, and very theatrical. And she'd had, I think the stage was set up to look like a living room, and she performed in like a suit and tie. And by all accounts, it was just amazing. And then she also released a remix version of it called Shadow Dogs. And I think one of the remixes was actually by Gary Newman.
Oh, wow.
I absolutely love it. I think she's absolute genius.
She's good.
I love it. I've kind of, I've listened to the pre-pastoral LPs, which are slightly different. They're kind of a lot more, I don't want to say like normal electronic, but you can see the progression from where she started to where she is now. And where she is now is in a great place. She's done some like I say, she's done soundtracks. She did I was just about the name on, I bloody forgot, Black Cab with Nick Frost. She scored that. She's done some she's done one for a film called The Power. She's done some stuff for a Sky TV series. But yeah, it's all very, very good, very, very dark, and really good. Gazelle Twin.
Excellent.
My number 10.
Number 10.
Of my contemporary, I will say contemporary.
I got a couple that are arguably not. That's all.
I'm bunged fucking Cilla Black in there just to.
Hey, I've got a Cilla Black record that was being.
I stayed the course.
I got a Cilla Black. I got a record called "Surprise, Surprise" by Cilla Black, but it is a VVM version. It is fucking ace. It makes me laugh enormously because it slows down and chops up and so on. But anyway, my final one.
Have you ever done that thing? Have you ever played Jolene by Dolly Parton at 33?
No.
It's 45, so you play at 33. It sounds just like Johnny Cash. Fucking brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. A friend of mine told me about that years ago, and I actually found the single in a charity shop, and I thought, gotta buy
worth
that.
it for that.
So it goes from Jolene to Jolene.
You can't do that with Spotify
brilliant.
or with MP3s, can you? You can if you've got Logic Pro or Cubase or something, but
and you can't play your records backwards and get satanic messages and go on a killing spree either. And I miss those days. Those
killing sprees. Yeah.
What are you up to? Just having a satanic black mass? Led Zeppelin told me to do it and I played their record, but okay, don't make a mess.
Yeah. The Judas Priest, they were in court for it, weren't they? Yeah. The Beatles got accused of similar and all kinds of madness.
Yeah, absolutely.
All kinds of madness.
Yeah.
Okay, my final one then, contemporary all the way through, Christina Van Zoo, Brussels-based.
I swore you were going to say Christina Aguilera.
No, that would have been funny, wouldn't it? That would have been a drop the mic moment. I have seen Christina Aguilera.
It's Petula Clark.
I have seen Christina Aguilera live, only because I took my daughter to it. It's
Fair play.
Quite a show, but definitely not something I would say I enjoyed. Except for Black Eyed Peas, because they were on support and they played through absolutely fucked up distorted amps, and it was terribly loud and noisy, and they were quite impressive before they became all famous and everything. But anyway, Christina Van Zoo, Brussels-based Greek-American composer. Again, you mentioned in one of yours before, this is very much neoclassical, electroacoustic soundscapes shot through with field recordings. And her albums are creatively called Number 1, Number 2, Number 3, Number 4. There are a few others, but the first ones are very, very lustrous.
So she's quite imaginative then.
Well, she is when it comes to the music, certainly. But it is very much, the first few albums anyway, are very much in the lush strings and ambient sound feels, very like oceans of sound. 15-piece
Is it ethereal?
It could be called ethereal. These delicate sounds that come in and out.
Take a drink.
Take a drink. Spectral voices, spectral ethereal voices, field recordings, 15-piece string section, woodwind, piano, harp again, and electronics.
Sounds quite avant-garde.
Not so much avant-garde, neoclassical.
So I was just trying to get all the other drinking going, you know. Would Keith's record stock it? Fucking hell, we're going for a full house.
They've all gone now.
Yeah, I know. It's just us two waffling on. Everyone's left.
Long into the night. Is it dawn? Is it dawn, Dave?
Who's he talking about now? Jean-Claude Van Damme, I think. Oh, fuck knows.
Another Horlicks. Oh dear. Yeah, but great stuff. Lovely music. The later albums, so she's got some remix albums as well. The later albums get a little bit more electronic, noisy, perhaps avant-garde, glitchy electronica in later times. But it still works. It's still great. Still a great talent. And she does slow motion films to some of this music, and never have two media come together so well. This evolving music with slow motion films and animations, and they're really cool as well. Very, very good. So yes, that's my number 10. Which I'll draw a line under it there. One, because I don't know an awful lot about Christina Van Zyl. I did have a quick prod around online. There wasn't an awful lot of information I could find about her. I can tell you that she collaborates very closely with Adam Wiltsey of Stars of the Lid, who are a fantastic American ambient group who will probably be reappearing again sometime. But that's my list. That's your list.
Yes. Okay. Well, that was fun. Well, for us anyway. I don't know what you think, listener, but do let us know. All the bits and bobs relating to Spotify and Facebook will be updated soon. Leave us any comments you want, and we will see you soon.
Hopefully so. Good evening to you all. Keep interacting with Dave. I don't see any of it, but I'm sure if anybody's got anything offensive to say about me or pleasant,
I'll pass all your fan mail on. I'll pass all your fan mail on. Don't worry. Oh, Jake, I love you. You're not quite as funny as Dave. I love you.
Never as funny as Dave. I think you've definitely got the mantle of the funniest one of the two of us. Somebody had to take it. I can live with that. All right. Farewell.
Okay. Yes. See you soon.
Ta-ra.